I want us to talk about some true self stuff today. I got a question for HollyKem to answer,
Okay.
but we're going to talk about creativity. One of the aspects of the true self is, I think, at its root is love and creativity when we're moving from that part of ourselves. Of course, it's connected with God in some way, but biblically, the Bible starts with God creating the world in 7 days, and then turns and says, I have made men and women in my image and likeness. And the only characteristic that he revealed of himself at that time was being creator, of
Mhm.
speaking things into existence. And so we can infer what he meant by made in his image and likeness, but we could make a pretty good argument that he put in us a creative ability to create things. And that when we're functioning at our highest level, there is oftentimes some level of creation. When you study Einstein, it wasn't that he was so brilliant. He had such a great imagination and he was very, very creative. He thought outside the box and he would have problems that he would sort of mull over until he had like enlightenment. He described the process not as a intellectual, logical conclusion, but he described it as if he was enlightened from another dimension, that he received a vision, a dream, an intuition, and it was much more of a creative process. But my question for HollyKem is, what is it that would block our creativity? How do you really work to open that up? And how do you think what that has to do with the voices?
One of the things that happens when you are in your protector, your wounded child, is that you're in a survival mode. And when you're in survival, you cannot dream. So creativity gets stunted. I'm not saying you can't create at all, but it becomes from a reaction. It's not completely from the flow. It can become from fear of poverty. It can become fear of um, like not wanting to get stuck where you come from. So when you do your work, what happens is then you can be in your true self, which is not in survival mode. And when you're not in survival mode and you're in the flow, then the ideas maybe that you have had, you can really get quiet with that, or you can get with another person or a team and you will be able to flow with that, and you will be able to hear the opportunities that are coming up, like the things that are being thrown out, like you'll catch them real quick and you'll be able to create this thing that you have a vision about. You'll be better with the details. You'll be able to see things better. So what happens is that when I'm stuck in the fear and I'm in the protector of a reaction mode, that all of a sudden, as I work through that and I start to get those voices quiet and I can understand the difference in my thoughts of who's thinking what, then all of a sudden I can I'll start to have an idea. And maybe it's an idea that I've had for a long time, or maybe it's something I'm even working on in the moment. But all of a sudden things become a lot clearer. Like the swimming pool is just a lot clearer. It's like, wow, I hadn't thought of that part of this, or that's interesting thought. And so what starts to happen is things get simpler. They become less muddled, or less, like a lot of times when we start to visualize something and we have our voices, like all three of us have too much energy, then there seems to be a lot more things that I need to, like, counteract, like we call it the devil's advocate, like throw in the pros and the cons, the pros and the cons, where when I'm more clear, I can really see more detail and more fluidity. And even if I don't have it directly, as I start to either write, draw, or communicate what I'm feeling or seeing, then all of a sudden the next piece comes, and the next piece comes, and the next piece
Are you
comes.
ready for a journey of self discovery and healing? Introducing A Roadmap to the Soul, a practical guide to love, compassion, and inner peace. This book offers practical tools and insights to navigate your inner landscape, release emotional blockages, and embrace your authentic self. Start your transformational journey today by getting your copy now. See the link in the description. And now, back to the lesson.
So, in the sense of creating a business, creating a relationship, creating a family, I mean, a lot of people don't realize that, when you have a family, you want to create that. You have these children, you have this, husband, wife deal, you have this unit, but you want to create what it is that you want it to look like. Like what's important to you. If you're single, you want to create this family that's your friends. And how do you want that to look? Do you want to have dinners once a month? Do you want to go out to dinner? Do you you start to create that instead of just waiting for it to happen? So in all areas of life, when you're in your truth, when you're in your true self and it has the most power, then you start to look at every situation in your life and you start to see what isn't working or what isn't looking like the way I would like it to be. And instead of being a floundering fish and just going along, I take that and I look at it and say, this is what I want it to look like. And you start to put energy towards that. So you have something else?
No, that was good. I think what I was thinking of too, there was a period of time when I was writing some music. I was writing lyrics and songs, and it was years and years ago. But I remember I came across a book called The Artist's Way.
Yes, good.
And it was a book about how to sort of tap into the flow of your creativity. What was interesting, but one of the foundations of the book was that when you would wake up before you would start doing your artistic endeavor, you would write 3 pages. It's called morning pages, where you would just write tangentially whatever thoughts you're having in your head. Like, I'm tired this morning. I don't feel like getting up. What about this and this and that? And whatever came to mind, you would just write for three pages. And her theory was after you wrote those 3 pages, it got all the muddle and the stuff out of your head, and you moved into more of a deeper flow. In reflecting back, that's before I understood the voices, that's basically what was happening, right? I was writing for 3 pages without thinking, whatever came to mind, and I was basically externalizing probably my wounded child and protective thoughts.
Right.
And then because I did that, then it opened up sort of the channel of quieting down, and then whatever intention I was having, whether it was writing a song or whether it was writing lyrics. And I had a pretty good run for a number of years when I was really focusing on that. But I would do that. But I think that's the same, it's the same concept, right? Is that we have the chatter in our mind and our heart. And if we find a way to externalize and manage that, then all of a sudden there's a third level that's deeper. And for example, in business, if I have to make a business decision, I might have a lot of chatter, a lot of going back and forth and stuff. But if I'm able to sort of work that out of the system, whatever the fears are, whatever concerns, the word about this, that, get it out of the system, then sometimes there's a knowing that comes that says, okay, this is the direction. This is what I need to do. And it's a knowing that I would say is actually a creative process, because you're coming to a decision that's at a deeper level than simply all of the chatter. And I think that's part of what we're talking about. It's not necessarily painting a painting or writing a song. It's just having a knowing. And you all have all experienced that before, that you would say, I just know that I know that I know that I need to do this, and I can't really tell you why, but I know. All right, so I get to that place, that deeper place. And I think that's where our true self lives, is in a deeper place below some of the chatter. And then we could often say the chatter's the wounded child and protector.
Oh,
Are you ready to embark on a journey of personal transformation and inner healing? Our intensive online coaching program is designed for individuals and couples seeking to reconnect with their true selves. Dive into our lessons, activations, live coaching calls, and educational readings tailored to uncover limiting beliefs, healing emotional wounds, and to cultivate a life filled with authenticity. Transform yourself, transform your relationships. It's time to transform you. See the description below to see how to join Transform You.